Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining the session. Today, we're going to be looking at that podcast website, and we're going to pick up where we left off on the previous session. We've moved from using off-the-shelf bundles for handling file uploads. Really, what I wanted was some sort of file asset management thing, not necessarily just upload. So we've got uploads, or we've got file management working from the import script, which is pretty much where I wanted to start with this. And things worked great up until I wanted to look at EasyAdmin. So I think where we're going to take EasyAdmin at this point is trying to find a way to customize how this code works. The background part actually turned out to be relatively easy. I'm going to go back into, let's see here, EasyAdmin for the list. I was able to tell it that the background image was going to use Astrocasts file as the template. And so I was able to get that information here. Everything looks great. If we look at the, let's see here, Astrocasts file template, we're using the Flysystem managed asset URL helper. This is a twig function that we added that allows us to get the full URL based on the value. So let's go ahead and click on this to make sure this works. All right, cool. So this all works great. Where things started to fall down was when we clicked on edit. And at this point, it's claiming that the file type isn't being passed the right number of dependencies. And the whole reason we needed the dependencies was so we could get access to that file manager. So if we go to our file type, we see it extends abstract type. So it's a Symfony component form abstract type. We need to have an instance of our Flysystem Asset Manager. And then we needed to use that to be able to get some of our information. So we copied some of the code from one of the uploader bundles. It's possible I need to look at one of the other uploader bundles for this. But where we needed the asset manager was to get the URI. Otherwise, we weren't going to be able to show the image on the form on the upload page or on the edit page. So what I'm going to do first is just make sure that nothing else weird is going on. I'm going to go to the form page without this background image. And it should edit just fine. All right. But what we want to do is potentially show the existing image, which is why we need the URL, and also update the code so that you can update the image later. So like if you want to upload a different version of the image, or if it didn't have an image to begin with, because we're going to use the same sort of code for adding a new episode. Right now, we're just modifying form, and form is being used for both edit and add. If I remove this, we should see the same error on the add page. So there's something weird going on here. And what we're seeing with this, what we've already looked at is that app form file type constructors being passed in 0 arguments. So 0 passed in online and expected exactly 1. And this matches up with what we have in our file type. I actually tried to get some help on this after the last session, so I'm going to walk through this just to make sure that I'm not missing anything super basic here. But the feedback that I got from Ryan Weaver is that it tells me that it's not seeing your class as a form type. It should already be set on that type's property. It becomes a form type by being a service and getting form.type tag, but autoconfig should add that. So this is what I assumed as well. So the next bit was, looks for, does the service have autoconfigure? The default config gives you this. So I'll just double check that configuration, and do I have the right base class? This is essentially the, is it on, did you plug it in sort of advice. But it could very well be the reason that this isn't working. So let's go ahead and double check the first thing. So let's go into services.yaml. File type, I'm realizing now what I did here was way after the fact because I thought that I needed to actually enable this. This is probably breaking the auto wiring. So I'm going to add auto wire true. We'll see if that does anything different. No, so that hasn't changed anything. I can also, even without that, let's try arguments. First argument is going to be file type. Let's see if we can manually wire it, because if we can manually wire it, then we can maybe figure out what's going on. But if we can't even manually wire it, then there's something seriously messed up with the code. So for that, we're going to do at, and then our Flysystem Asset Manager thingy. Oh, been playing in VI a little bit too much today. All right, so this should work. We've got public true, arguments, and giving it the form type tag. Still nothing. So this should just work out of the box, even without this. So I'm going to remove this entirely. And if we look up here, so resources, it's looking in everything inside source, except for dependency injection, entity, migrations, tests, and kernel.php. And just to be sure, source, form, file type. So file type is here. Namespace is app form file type, so that makes sense. Abstract type. So this is where it could potentially be wrong, I suppose. Because the file type, I don't know what the default file type is. So let's see if we can figure out how Symfony auto configure works. Because I haven't actually looked at that before. So press auto configure twice. Just gonna have to guess where this stuff lives. So source, I'm guessing it's just in the DI component. Config. Hey, Oliver. Thanks for joining. Looks like Joe's in chat as well, although on different services. Let's see, Symfony, create, and auto configure. So if I knew how the things actually worked, so it's not magic. Oof. All right, so propose services using AutoWire instance of functionality. Okay, event listener. All right, so form type interface, register for auto configuration. All right, so ag tag form.type. So form.type interface. So Symfony component form type interface. Let's see if that's what this does. So abstract implements form type interface, Symfony component form. Looks like it is. As far as I can tell. So file type is actually there. Um, Something else we can do. Something else we can do is try to do something with our command. So I think that was what, ingest command. Let's exit here pretty early. And let's ask for our file type. As the constructor arg. And let's see if this works. If this works, then we know that auto wiring and at least auto wiring is set up correctly. If it doesn't, then yeah. What does our file type look like? Trying to figure out what I could do on this. Build form. Let's do build view. We need a lot of junk for that. Let's just dump it. All right, so we've got file system mapping, so we know we actually have that. We have URL mapping, so content. So we know that app form file type exists as a class. It is auto wirable. And it has the file asset manager that we would have expected. So as far as I can tell, the auto wiring is working. The question is, why is it not actually being picked up here? So let's see, was it form type interface type? Form type interface. Let's see if it's on here. Unexpected class. Ow, what did I do wrong there? File type instance of. What? So it does think it should be a form type, so it should be picking it up. I have no idea why it's not. Oh, let's pull that over here. All right, so there's nothing that I think is actually broken here in the way that I've set it up, because everything that I've seen seems to indicate this should work. So the file type actually exists. Let's see if there's something else weird in the configuration here that is a problem. So we have maybe the leading slash is a problem. Wouldn't guess that's the case, but if it is, it's just, all right, there we go. All right, so option download link does not exist, define options. Okay, so Download link is a bool. Well, at least we got passed, so I'm happy with that. So download link. All right, so let's not do that. All right, argument. Oh, get URL must be an instance of a file. Instance of an episode given. Okay. This is where it's going to get tricky. Because what we get here is the actual object that's passed. So get parent, get data. What we need to know, hey Josh, thanks for joining. What we need to know is how to get the field name. So essentially, we need to be able to tell background image. We need to get background image here. So let's see what data we have inside the form. Actually, let's print our let's print options. We'll do options and form. And hopefully this isn't going to kill memory. All right, so inside options, look for background image. All right, so token ID name. All right, so form, config, name, property path. Something already has the value. There we go, media URL. So that's not what I want though. It's 4 instances. Flysystem. Okay, where's the other one? There's a hidden one here. So we get the form itself, past options, data. So that's just the data from the actual object, so that's not useful. So forms by view. Must be this. So parent view data file. Okay, so there's the file. Awesome. Model data. I wonder if I can use that. So we're already getting the parent, which is a form, and then we get the data. So that gives us our object, but we don't really need that object necessarily. What we need is value get, is it view data? Model data. Maybe just data. Because view data, we'd still need to know the file. If there's something else we need here, so let's do all right. If this works, great, but it's pretty ugly. Not going to be super happy with that because I don't understand it. So even if it works, it doesn't really work. Okay, undefined offset 0. What's the instance of matter array given? Yeah, okay. So let's do get. What did I do before? Get view data, get data. Okay. It did something, so it was actually getting past a value. Let's do this again. All right, so yeah, it's being passed a value. And we're getting the URL. So EasyAdmin. The thing we want to do now is use a different template. So we want to do, eventually this should be renamed to Astrocasts image. But for now, we'll leave it like this. We'll do, let's go file, form, field. And this should give us an error. No, it doesn't. Interesting. Why does it not give us an error? Background, choose file. Create from URL must be of type string, null given. Okay, so add doesn't work. So, and object and value. All right, we'll go back to this screen and figure out what's going on here. So the template field must not be used at all for the fields. Because I'm seeing background here twice. Let's see. File. So what we had before, we only ever had these read views. So we never actually had an edit. So I wonder if this is actually in the file type itself. So it creates a file class. This is building a form. Labels, getting a label. Yeah, okay, so this is coming from there. So this is adding So I'll go check the custom type stuff again. So edit new views, custom form options, customize the form fields. Right, let's go back to we don't want the sandbox, we want the actual thing here. So for the file type, this was where we got most of this before. So download link, we don't do download link anymore. That's why we got an error earlier. Building a form, so we add the file transformer. I think we're still doing that. And then allow delete, build delete field. So this adds the ability to have a checkbox to delete, but I don't want that. Build view. This gets the download URI. All right, download label. Let's see if there are some views here. So fields, pitch row, pitch image. All right, so I think we had, do we have a block prefix here? No. So let's add one of those, and maybe we just need to completely redo this, the fields. So yeah. So file type. I don't know how these templates will get registered though. So views, forms, field, unless it's magic, which I'm fine with magic at this point. So templates. Right, fields HTML.twig. All right, let's do this. See what happens now. Let's see if it does anything different. Nope. Okay. So this is what we eventually want to do, is use the image stuff here. All right, so now we need to figure out how those got loaded. So fields, customize form fields. It's a different kind of customizing. right, so that's not doing it. Views form. I should double check to see what they recommended for. Using the bundle, there we go. So all right. See if they do anything different here. Resources. They don't actually do anything here. Parameters. So they don't have any custom templates. Not in the same place anyway. It's possible they don't have the same sort of stuff here. Uploader. You know, this didn't even work with EasyAdmin. So this very specifically talks about the template uploading in the edit views. It just works. Oh, maybe I just simply don't specify. That's weird. So if I specify a label, it doesn't override the label. It duplicates it somehow for some reason. It doesn't seem right. Options label. Well, I'm just going to remove that for now because it at least has the same functionality as they had in the other bits. The thing that I was curious about is how we can get short names for these. So I wonder if that has an impact on the template naming. Form theme. Aha. Let's see if this works. So EasyAdmin, design, and we'll use just form fields HTML. Okay. Now we're getting a little closer. So let's do download label. All right, so this is where we wanted to specify those. I guess download label is listed here, so that's good. Default download label is download. All right. Still thinks download label does not exist. All right. Wonder if that's something from this part. Okay. Resolve download label. That's really complicated. Guessing here, but I think that'll work. Okay, cool. So I have a download link. Sweet. And it's actually the correct URL. So I'm getting there, which is a good sign. Now, so this is for file, which is good. So what I want to do is create an image type. And I don't remember, I want to see how they differentiated file from image. So image is extending file type. image URI, image pattern. Ugh. So build view is the only thing that's different. So we have Astrocast file, and let's, I guess, create a new one. And we'll do image type. All right, we'll do Astrocast image. I don't really know why there'd be anything else in here. So this is image URI, download URI. These things should be the same for me in my brain. Oh, because it's using, I don't know what it's using. Options, image pattern. I wonder if that's a resizer. Let's see. No, I don't think so. Cache manager. Oh, it is imagine. I wonder if that's what it is then. Get browser path. Image URL in your code is. Okay, so it is creating thumbnails. Not worried about that. How about I just not worry about it? I wonder if I need to do anything else then. I'm going to go switch this to image type. Image URI does not exist, which I guess makes sense. So let's do, see if we can do as little as possible. So it adds vars, view vars. Let's do the same thing, except cheat a little bit. Or cheat a lot. So let's use everything it's already doing, assuming it gets a download URI, and say view image URI view vars download URI. All right, so yeah, we'll see if this works. All right, sweet. So it's not pretty by any means, but it at least shows the stuff there. Let's see if we can actually upload a new file though. So let's go. Where can we go? Where can we go? Here we there. Okay, expected argument type file or null, uploaded file given. Okay, so where are we at? mapper. Admin controller. Map forms to data. All right. So we do have this normalizer thing. Can't help but wonder if that's something here. So file transformer. Handle view. Let's see what this field is actually called. Type file ID. Background image file. Name is episodes. Background image file. Okay. Or what Vitch file? It might have expected that. Let's see here. Files, do uploadable field, set image file, file. That is what's happening. Wonder. This file transformer. So I need to see how these are used. Because I'm guessing that we can use one of these. So set defaults, task class, build form, add model transformer. An issue number to an issue entity. Transformer an object to a string. All right, so this is return this entity manager, find the number. So I think what happens here is that file is a Symfony file at this point. At this point, file is something different. So we'll do yeah, so transform file is a file. That makes sense. And when I save, I'm going to guess that it's a Symfony. Oh, undefined. Yeah, okay. We'll do that. Reverse transform file, array file is an uploaded file. Okay. So in the case of the original uploader bundle we were playing with, it was actually leaving this as it was. It was essentially having the model or the doctrine model itself accept a Symfony uploaded file, which is just, I don't like that, which is why this isn't working. So this is all good. Uploaded file equals data file. All right, so now what we need to do is generate the required data from the file itself. So I think we already had something in our Scratch file for this, because we knew that this was going to be what we need to do at some point. So from controller, here we go. So we don't need to do this here anymore because we can just create a new file. So we'll do return new file. So this is our file. The file system, what are we doing for the file system here? This shouldn't be hard-coded, but it is. Yes. Where are we doing this? Content. All right, so we're doing content. This is where things get interesting. All right, so this is going to be a blocker because we don't have access to the object itself at this point. I wonder if file transformers are auto-configured. Either way, we don't have much information here. We have a file, and that's it. It doesn't look like it has any other metadata. Return empty string if null is passed. To deal with empty values. The only thing that we could do is not do this in its own class. So it looked like there was a callable version. This would be a dirty way to get this done. The next 5 minutes. Data transformers, callback transformer. Let's see how awful this looks. So let's go back to file type. Instead of new file transformer, we'll do new callback transformer. All right, so we're going to get in file as array, and then file as string. We're going to do essentially what we did before. Here we'll have a little more context. Than we had before. So what we ultimately want is this. But I don't think we'll have access to the actual, well, it's just going to have access to the builder. I don't really know how we're going to do this, to be honest. Now that I have a better understanding of what it is this is even doing, it's going to be tricky. Uploaded file, is it not? There we go. So here we have access to file. We can get the content. We'd have to know which actual episode we're looking at. We'd have to get the original name from the uploaded file. Get client original name. We won't know what the we're going to need something heavier here. We're going to need something that is a mediator between the actual instance, in this case the episode, before it actually puts that on the object. And I don't know enough about the form component to know what that is. The data transformers seem like they'd be the easy thing. Not an easy thing, but the obvious choice. Model and view transformers. 3 different types of online data. Data's format application, issue object, model data. So here, the normalized version of your data is kind of the same as your model data. It's a text field. Yeah, I'm going to have to do some research on this, probably offline, because we really need to get access to the field type, so we know which one of these generators to call, and we actually need to be able to have the object, sort of like what we're doing down here, where we need to be able to get the target entity of this form that we're connected to. And right now there's no way to get that, as far as I can tell, because this is building the form before it renders the form. What it's saying here is that you could potentially have more information in normalized data. So this is the normalized version of the data, commonly the same as your model, but it's not always. It's possible we could use a data normalizer to encode something in there about the entity itself. So perhaps like a episode ID. Then we could use the episode ID. We could also encode the type, so we know it's type episode. And then the field name, which right now I'm a little surprised that we don't have the field name anywhere. listed in here, at least as far as I can see. So it's going to take a little bit more work, but I think we're getting there. At least we're able to get the information showing up on the edit form again, which we weren't seeing for a while. We got past the awesome little bit with, let's see, where was it? I think it was the EasyAdmin YAML, where I'd copied the reference and it had this leading slash, which was giving us the error that made it look like this wasn't working. Too few arguments passed. It knew it, like PHP knows that when it gets this string to do the right thing, but apparently this didn't allow it to work within the form component itself. The form component itself sees this as a separate thing from the type without the leading slash. So that was a good lesson to learn, I suppose. I think that's maybe a UX thing that would be a nice little PR at some point. Does anyone have any questions? Looks like there's a couple of people on chat. If not, I'm probably going to sign off here in a couple of seconds. Let's double check where we're at here. So we're still adding the media storage functionality. We're getting pretty close. Episodes, file system. So yeah, I'd say this is all done. And I think we've proven that it works. The next bits are just EasyAdmin customization, file and image types. Okay, cool. All right, well, I'll be back again tomorrow for another That Podcast episode, and then again tomorrow night for a longer episode with bootstrapping Astrocasts. Also, just a quick plug. If we go to astrocasts.com, live sessions, we're actually going to be able to see all of the episodes that have been on here. So if you want to catch either one of these two series from the beginning, you now have that capability. So they're all up and online. Looking for some good feedback on that. Thanks. Have a good day.